It
All
is my
right.
pleasure to introduce Michael Thorne. Corey and I are very, very happy to have Michael, you join us. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what we're going to talk about today, because you and I um, have been around long enough. We've actually experienced some change.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I've got an interesting history in real estate. Decided to be an agent at the age of 15. Went off and worked in a real estate office as an assistant 2 weeks after I made that decision to learn the most I could about the industry. Steven's from the fake Vancouver, by the way. Just thought I'd let Steven know. Fake Vancouver.
Steven.
And got licensed on my 19th birthday. Really struggled at the beginning. My sphere of influence was older. There wasn't new opportunities like social media and ways to differentiate yourself. It was just open houses, cold calling, door knocking, ads in newspaper, which I couldn't afford to do. The internet comes along in 1995 through 2000. For the first time, I see an opportunity to do something different than other agents are doing. Partnered up with my business partner still today in the late 90s, Jordan Maisie. She's phenomenal. She is the complete opposite of me. She makes me far better than I am on my own. And then progressively, as new opportunities came along, being paperless super, super early, video very, very early. And we see AI as just the next progression. By the way, Trish, my amazing business partner, Trish, joined us about 13 years ago. And every decision we've always made is at the pursuit of improving the customer experience. Even if it's difficult for us, our goal is to increase the customer experience. And when we first started going down the rabbit hole of AI in the winter of 2022, it was very apparent to me, because I'm used to seeing the opportunity and change, that this would take our business as far as client care to the next level. And that's when we started implementing it.
I want to go back, Michael, and highlight something you said, because I think it's very, very important. And I don't remember the years. I think you said 95 to 2000, maybe. The introduction of the internet, and you saw opportunity. And I think that's the big message that we want to convey today on One Primetime to everyone that's joining is this is AI is a change. Of course, we're going to talk about AI today. AI is a change that represents opportunity for you to set yourself apart and really amplify the relationship, which is what we've been promoting within this session, and and to embrace change. So thank you for being the leader in that. Thank you for having proven throughout your career that that is what sets you apart. So just thank you, because it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and you know what, and Corey and I have known each other for a long time, and she understands, she knows my heart. I want agents to see the opportunities. I want them to take action. I want them to improve their business. I want them to win. And so, there's a lot of people out there speaking on AI right now that don't practice real estate day in and day out. Everything I'm going to share with you guys today, everything you need to know about this, in a as much as we can get to. I mean, we've put into our real business. We've done with our clients. We know it works, and it has, helped us, take our business to the next level, certainly.
And
I'm
that's
gonna
absolutely true. For people who don't know Michael Thorne, like I've known Michael for so long, he does this from his heart. And the first time I met him and I watched him coach video, and he and I used to do a lot of tag teaming on coaching social media together, I was like, why is he doing this? He's got a full-fledged business. He's very successful agent. He's got a family, which we all know is a full-time job too. And I think there's just this innate love for what he does and what we all do as agents, that he just wants to help us. I was thinking about this morning because I need to go to the gym and I haven't. I was thinking about how AI, for those people who haven't done AI or really taken a hold of AI, if you were going to go to a gym, you could go in it alone and try and figure out the Nautilus machines, and feel uncomfortable and out of place and in the way. Or you can go into it this way, like we've done with Scott Bergman and now Michael Thorne, with a coach. Go in with a coach who's going to show you the Nautilus machine, give you the quick, here's how to, and here's how I do it. And again, like Michael said, he's an agent. So what better way to learn it than from somebody who's practicing?
Well, and Corey, you and I've known, and I'm not competing with Michael. I'm not going to say I've known Corey longer than you have, but Corey and I
Oh,
go
like
back a
this.
ways too.
Like
And I
this.
remember Corey and I having a conversation about Twitter, and I said, you know, I'm not comfortable tweeting. My mama told me just be careful with that tweet thing, and I go back to that, and I remember her saying to me, you don't have to master it, but if you
Mhm.
don't at least understand it when the next thing comes, you're going to be that much further behind. And do you feel that's true with AI? Nobody is expected to walk out of the watch party. No one's expected to walk away from this episode of One Prime Time and master anything. But man, let's get our feet wet. Let's be introduced. Let's at least see, you know, is the treadmill rolling forward or backward, right? How do we even approach it?
Yeah, I agree. And we talked about that beforehand. This is something you will do. It's just you can't opt out of it, and we'll get into that idea. But if you can acknowledge that you are going to do it, don't do it 3 years from now when it's way more difficult to do it than today, and lose that ground to somebody else, because you're going to do it. It's far easier to do it today than to sit back and wait, and we've seen that before. Certainly.
Fine, fine, you guys all go to the gym. You've made your point.
All right, so I'm gonna Kathy, we're good to get going.
Let's roll.
Okay. Awesome. So I hope you guys can just let me know in the chat that you see me side by side with myself and the slides to that way. Just make sure that we're feeding this in properly. And thank you. Oh my goodness. I'll say Randy's name instead of Jeremy. Jeremy said yes. So this is what we were just talking about, and it's really important for you guys to understand. We've got 50 minutes together. I've asked Kathy for 7. She said no. We've got 50 minutes. If we were here for 4 hours or for 8 hours, we would still be scratching the surface of how this is going to impact our business without a doubt. And there are some small writing on my slides, and I understand what that is. The reason why I do that is I am going to send this slide deck to Kathy afterwards, and she can find some way to make it available to you so that you have some context on what I was talking about. Not asking you to read it on the screen over Zoom, but that is there. We're just going to start to scratch the surface. So in a nutshell, this is what AI is. And in the chat, if you know what this cheat code in there, just give me a 1 in the cheat code. Yeah, so that's the thing is, Daniel, I thought I was spotlighted. Daniel said, can you spotlight Michael? So if you can do that, Kathy, that would be great. See, there's some people in here that know Michael knows it. 111.
I did
So
another technical thing.
yes, you. So this is the Contra cheat code. A lot of people in here that are just my age. I love Realty One. These are my people. So this was a cheat code for a video game in the 80s called Contra. And up, up, down, down, left, right, BA select, if you had a friend, start, would give you sort of unlimited lives to play a very, very difficult game. And you could do it far more easily with less problems, with less stress, because you had unlimited lives than you could without the cheat code. And that's the easiest way to understand what AI is. This is a cheat code, and I don't know how you compete against people using a cheat code if you're not going to use it as well. And so that's the easiest way to sort of think about it. So in the chat, I want you to talk about, we even got Tyson knockout cheat codes in here. I love it. I want you guys to say in the chat box where you are in your AI journey. What's AI? You use it once or twice a week. Beginner, you're a beginner. Intermediate, of course. Experts, let's take experts off the table. There are no experts. It's too new, too fast. So go ahead in there and say where you are with beginners. Beginners, awesome. I haven't used it, no clue, love it. Used it once, beginner. Every day, much to learn. Beginner that was from CJ. Intermediate,
Mhm.
intermediate, good. Every single day, beginner, awesome.
Yeah.
Now, here's my goal for you guys over the next 50 minutes. I hope I can make the vast majority of people that are saying that they're intermediates realize that they are beginners. And that's a very, very positive thing for me to show you. That means you believe you've got a good handle on the opportunity, but I've just shown you in a very short period of time that the opportunity is much bigger than you believe it to be. That's a very exciting thing to happen. And I hope that I can get you there over the next 45 minutes. If you said you're an intermediate, we'll go again later on and ask where you are in your journey. But I want to take you back to 1995. Let me just pop this over here. We changed our audio.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Brian Gumble.
We're gonna go to 1995. Just take you back to my 3rd year in real estate.
Translate that as I was doing that little tease.
Oh, that's
that little
right.
mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At.
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it.
Around.
I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
I heard it around or about in the lunchroom the other
See,
week.
there it is. Violence at NBC. GE com. I mean,
Well, Allison should know.
what
do you
is
say to that,
internet
Allison?
anyway?
Internet is that
Massive computer
right,
network.
the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate with, I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
And that is hilarious because of time, right? So I was an agent when that was broadcast on network TV. Agents in my office are saying things to me like I will never participate in the internet. And we're there again now. The questions that we're asking now are all super reasonable questions about AI, how it's going to impact us, how it's going to impact our business. All these questions are super reasonable, and we will laugh at it 10 years, 15 years down the road. Now, there's one dramatic difference between AI and the internet, and that is simply the speed to which this is happening. I had the honor of listening to Dr. David Edelman speak at an event last fall. He's a professor at MIT. He's advised 3 former US presidents on technology. And his talk that day could be summed up with this quote: "I implore you to be impatient." And it's something that we hear, that little bit of contradictory. Sometimes what we hear is like, don't worry, you've got time. Take it easy. We're okay. You know, just do a little bit of time, that sort of thing. And his message and my message too as well, and why I'm here, is to implore you to be impatient when it comes to this opportunity. It's moving so incredibly fast and the opportunity is so big. So I want to answer 2 key questions for you today, right now. Number 1, why you should care. Super practical question, and here's the answer. Survey after survey has shown the impact that AI has on quality of output and efficiency. The survey I just showed you from MIT showed that you could reduce time. Professionals, by the way, professionals like you and me who used AI were able to reduce time on task by up to 80%. That means what takes you 5 hours to do takes me 1. It also found that quality of output rose by 40%. That means what takes you 5 hours to do takes me 1, and my 1 hour is 40% better than your 5. Simply, that's why you should care. And the next question is, does it work? Now, there are a bunch of different ways that I can show you how AI has impacted our business day in and day out, but this is probably the easiest one to visualize. This is the web traffic to our real estate website during 2023. And you can see almost down to the week when we started to use AI to improve our site and the content on it, and that graph just continues to grow. And when I show this graph, it causes agents to ask, well, what was that one prompt? What was that one key change that you made that caused that growth? And the key thing that you need to realize is that there isn't one, right? It's just the ability to do more better. If you look at your business and you're able to do much more, much better, then you will improve your business, plain and simple. And so that's what's happened. There's no magic secret sauce to it. Now, when I'm working with Buffini now and putting it together an AI training program, and we'll talk about that later on, but I'm doing a lot of media right now, and people are saying, Buffini's doing AI? Like, what? I thought he was the handshake person. Like, what's happening? That's because a lot of people are looking at AI the wrong way. There are 2 losers and 1 winner, in my opinion, when it comes to AI and real estate. Those that ignore it are going to lose. The same way people who ignore the internet either are out of the business or they use it 30 times by accident before they have their second cup of coffee. That's the truth. You are going to do this. So people who ignore it will lose. The next loser, in my opinion, are those agents that are going to put this technology between them and their consumer, right? Agents that are listening to experts on real estate stages throughout North America telling you to create a digital avatar of yourself to communicate with your client. If you are going to use AI to distance yourself from your client, like the way you might use DocuSign so you never have to sit face to face with your client again, that's a misuse of the tool. If you are going to distance yourself from the client and forfeit that relationship to AI, in my opinion, you will lose. Now, the agent that wins, in my opinion, is the agent that puts its technology behind them, streamlining their business prep, their doc prep, their content creation, their research, their data analysts, their market insights, all those things, freeing up 2 hours every single day so you can sit across the table from a nervous first-time home buyer longer. If you are going to use this technology to make yourself more human in the years to come, you will win big time. And that's the message that I have for you guys. Find more time to do the things that are valuable. Now, today we're going to focus on large language models in general. It keeps changing all the time. Gemini is Google's large language model. It's amazing. ChatGPT, now we're at 03. Claude 4 came out last week and blew me away. Llama 4 is out. That's Meta's platform. I don't have any skin in the game. I don't care who's going to win. The key of everything that I'm going to share with you today, this knowledge is applicable in any one of those large language models. The skills doesn't matter. I don't care who wins. You guys are going to take away. Why don't you have Grok? Grok is very single focused. Grok is Musk's X's platform. It's very content creation. It doesn't have a lot of moving parts yet, although definitely shows some promise on building things. The biggest change that has happened from when I started talking about this to now is the fact that these platforms now are multimodal. At the beginning, 2 years ago, it was text in and text out. If you could ask it via text, it could understand what you wanted and it could respond via text. That is now out the window. These platforms are now multimodal, and I'm going to show you some examples. These models can see, they can hear, they can speak, they can take an image and create sound. They can take sound and create a poem. There's all these different ways that it interacts, and it makes a huge, big difference moving forward that these platforms are multimodal. No new platforms coming out aren't multimodal. Now, there are 5 stages of artificial intelligence as defined by OpenAI, and I want to go through all of them with you, and I'm going to use CJ as my guinea pig. CJ, I promise you have CJ, Corey. Sorry, I've always known.
I love it. No.
CJ.
It's always
I
been
apologize.
CJ. No.
CJ, you have all the knowledge to answer this question. I'm not trying to trick you, but you have to answer right away. What letter of the alphabet does Apple start with?
A.
A. Perfect. So that's a chatbot. You ask a question and it has to give you an answer right away. Now, I promise you, I'm not tricking you. You have all the knowledge possible to answer this question, but you must answer it right away. What is the month and the day that is 43 days before your birthday? Exactly. I'm going to come back to you. That is the limitation of a chatbot. The more difficult it is to answer the question without giving it a chance to reason, to think through, it's going to give us an answer and it might not be right. So in the fall of last year, we moved to stage 2 of artificial intelligence. That's now with thinking and reasoning models. That means not only is it smart, but after you ask the question, it's going to take time to think through the answer before it gives you the answer. Now, if I go back to CJ and ask her the same question that I did before, oh, sorry, that's you guys. CJ, what is the day in the month that is 27 days before your birthday, and you're allowed 2 minutes to think of it, and when you have the answer, interrupt me. All right? Go ahead and figure that out. That's what a reasoner is. Now, we are moving to a whole new world. In 2024, large language models were there to assist us, right? To help us do a task. In 2025 and through 2026, we're moving to stage 3. These large language models are going to start to do things for us because now we're moving into the world of AI agents, not real estate agents. I want to be clear about that, but AI agents. And just giving you an example of what an AI agent is, this is when it's going to dramatically impact our business and businesses all around the world. So right now, when we're dealing with a large language model, right, And there's so many great questions. I can't wait to get to Q&A. We have to ask it, and then it answers us, and then it comes back to us. It's this game of Pong going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But I want to show you one example of what an AI agent is. So this is an example of how AI agents are going to work. All these employees on the right-hand side of your screen are not actual people. They are AI agents that work for your company. You got a content strategist, you got a researcher, you got an outline writer, copywriter, and an editor. And every morning, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., your content strategist is going to go out there and go on the internet and read a bunch of articles about what's happening in the real estate industry in your local market. It's going to go to your website, read all the blog posts you have on your website, and determine what the ideal piece of content is to help buyers and sellers get closer to your knowledge or see your expertise, and also to add to your topical authority. It will then give your information out to a researcher. A researcher is going to go and research that topic, make sure it's got facts and quotes and data to back it up. It will send that information off to an outline writer. That outline writer will write the outline. It'll send it off to a copywriter who will write the blog post. It'll go off to an editor who will suggest changes. It'll go back to the copywriter who will make changes. That process will go back and forth until the editor approves that blog post, and it either shows up in your inbox as a final product or automatically posted on your website for everyone to see. That's an AI agent. Those are 5 AI agents working together without you automatically working in your business, doing things for you. Now, think about your business with 115 of those. How does that change your business? And we will get to building AI agents, not today because I don't have time, but you will have AI agents in your business in the next 12 months. I certainly already have some of them. So that's just give you an idea of where we are. And when we talk about AI agents, this is just where we are with OpenAI. In January, we had tasks come out. An operator came out in January, and then in February, they released deep research. Now, Sam Altman of OpenAI, their CEO, said that deep research today is able to do 5% of all financially viable work in the world. It is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to quickly show you deep research and the power of it. So this is the prompt that I've asked to put out. Once again, you guys will get all of these slides. I've asked it to create the ultimate first-time home buyer's guide for Langley and the Fraser Valley. I want it to conduct in-depth research to develop a comprehensive guide titled First-Time Home Buyer's Guide, designed for the perspective of a seasoned realtor in Langley, BC. This guide should be yada, yada, yada. So I send that off to deep research. And what deep research is a lot different. I send that off, and because it's going to take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, it's going to ask me some qualifying questions beforehand to make sure that it's exactly what I want. So I answer those qualifying questions and I send that off. Now, obviously, you're going to see that this is sped up dramatically, but here's what happens because it's an AI agent. It's going to go out there. It's going to write code. It's going to research. It's going to look at databases. You can see all the things that it's doing on the right-hand side. Reading, writing, doing all these things. Here we are at the 11-minute mark. I think it ends up around 15 minutes when it's all said and done. And that's a deep piece of deep research. And what you end up here is with this 43-page document that's perfectly written and researched and put together about everything you need to know as your first-time home buyer in the Fraser Valley of Langley. Now, once you have this piece of content, you've got an ebook, you've got 8 blog posts, you've got 45 Instagram reel scripts, you've got a 2-page cheat sheet, you've got a lot of things. This done in 15 minutes quite reasonably would have taken me 3 days. And now you can run deep research all the time. That's just one example how AI agents are already transforming every single thing we do. Now, you look at the multimodal capability.
Kathy's got a question.
I've got a question.
Oh, perfect. I love this.
Can I just pause right here because Mark's got a question, who proves the AI agent? And I want to go back because you did that super fast, which I love because I did tell you 50 minutes. Right. But I think it's so important for details such as we initially opened and you said, hey, Steve, you're in the wrong Vancouver. And it's very important to put Langley, BC. So the attention is in the details. So when we talk about proving and we talk about accuracy, I don't want to skip that The magic is in the details. The magic is in when you do the deep research, making sure that you're asking very specific questions, and then you edit it, go back and ask more questions. So Mark, I might be making this up, Michael, so jump in here. I don't
No,
think
you're what you're doing is you're covering a slide 4 slides from now, and I love it because you're right.
Well, I just want to make sure everyone to address the fear. At no time are you losing control of this.
No,
Okay.
no. This is an assistant that amplifies who you are, doesn't replace you. Right.
Okay.
That's the thing. And we're going to talk about that a bunch of things. It's an absolute great point. And we're going to get to that slide in a sec, and it's going to mean everything to you guys. Mark, great question. So now what we do is we think about this multimodal magic where it can look at every type of output and input. And then you add AI agents on top of that. And you realize those AI agents will have access to your calendar, your CRM, your email, your management, your docs. I mean, you're going to have all these virtual assistants working in the background, streamlining all the back end stuff, all that busy work. So you can do what? You can be a professional in front of your client more often. That's exactly what I think it's going to be. Now, here is the number one thing that keeps people from using AI. This is a message. Happy New Year, Michael. It goes on to say, hope you had a great holiday break. Do you have any chat GPT prompts to help with geofarming? I wrote back in my broken English, we don't do a ton of it, but building a crazy system would be easy to build. Do you know what you want to accomplish? And that's where that conversation ends today. That is the biggest and perhaps one of the only hurdles in getting the most out of AI. You need to know what you're trying to achieve. You need to know what headache in your business you want to go away. You need to know what system you're trying to streamline. You know, that's the whole part of it. So let me give you an example of need to know. This is a very simple example. This is our website. This is the menu section on our website. It's just links that are there, right? It's just boring links. That's not what I love, but I knew what I wanted. And this is what I wanted. I wanted, instead of just having a link with a line under it, I wanted a white line to appear to the left of the link and for the words of the link to move slightly to the right when you hover over it. And I also wanted that effect to ease in and ease out. I popped that request into ChatGPT. I've told it that I've got a Squarespace 7.1 website. It says, yeah, no problem. I'll write that code for you. Not only does it write the code for you, but it tells me exactly where to put that code in my Squarespace website and reminds me to save the changes. And now when you go to our website, when you hover over those things, this is what the menu looks like. Now, it is a minor change, something that I probably wouldn't have hired someone to do because it wasn't worth it. But it took 30 seconds, and all I needed, I know nothing about coding. I want to make that clear. I know nothing about coding. All I knew was what I wanted. And because you're able to speak in normal language, human language, and ask what you want, that is the only obstacle to getting the most out of this. This is what Kathy was talking about. I call it the 80-15-5 rule. It's very, very important. Large language models and AI are extremely good at getting you from a blank page to 80% real quick, from a blank page to a well-researched outline. And that's amazing. Saves a ton of time. But the next 15% are still on you. You just can't put it out there. You got to proofread it. You got to make sure it's on brand. You got to fact check it. You got to check it for biases because this is built on humans, and humans by their nature are flawed, biased people. You still got to put your thumbprint on it, especially if it's forward-facing content. This is a must. And then you take that 95% finished product and you give it back to a large language model and you say, convince me that this can be better. And it will tell you how to make it better. This is the most important slide of the presentation. I'm going to show you later on about 5 or 6 different examples of different ways that you can use AI in your business and from all the different corners of a large language model. And I know realtors, you're my people. You will see those 5 examples and say, oh, those are the 5 things it can do. That's not the case. It will do anything you want as long as you ask it properly. Please, please, please see my examples and then tell yourself, well, if Michael can make it do this, I can make it do that. Do not just look at these examples. Think better about how it's going to affect your business. Now, the advice is, when should I use it? When should I use it? It's very easy. If you're the expert, you don't need a large language model. But if you're working on something that can be done faster or better with an expert in that field sitting across the table from you, jump on a large language model. So if you are asking a computer question, you can sit across the table from Bill Gates. If you've got a question about copywriting, you can sit across the table from the amazing Zadie Smith, or social media, you can sit across the table from Gary Vaynerchuk. If what you're working on is a CMA, you don't need AI. But if you're trying to put a content strategy together, you now can sit across the table from an expert in that field. Now, the big change, and one of the limitations of this, is the difference between DocuSign and ChatGPT. DocuSign is very easy for us to get our heads around because it was built for a very specific and clear purpose: to conveniently and securely get signatures on contracts digitally. And because it was built for a specific purpose, we all know what it is. ChatGPT wasn't built for the real estate industry for a specific purpose or any specific purpose, right? That's our role. That is our job, to give it the guidelines, and that's called prompting. And we'll get into that real quickly in a little bit. The other big difference is the difference between Google and ChatGPT. When we go to Google, we get an answer. If the answer theirs we don't like, the only option we have is to ask it again, and hopefully we get the answer. The difference with ChatGPT is the start of a conversation. There's context involved. You ask one question, you ask a follow-up, it gets better. You ask another follow-up, it gets better. You ask another follow-up, it gets better. Do not look at this technology as a tool like Google. Look at it like a teammate, right? And that you're collaborating together. I'll give you a real quick example on how context matters. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, give me 25 long tail keywords about home buyers interested in learning more about the neighborhoods in Langley, BC. It's going to give me 25 long tail keywords, right? Great. These are all little articles I can write. But because there's context, I can say, hey, look, just give me 3 blog post ideas for number 5. Number 5. Don't have to give it any more context than that. Great. Here are 3 ideas about number 5, the most walkable communities in Langley. And I get down here to Willoughby versus Fort Langley, who wins in walkability. That's the 3rd one. It's great. Willoughby and Fort Langley are very different neighborhoods. I like that blog post idea. I say, great, write a blog post using markdown format. This is not how I'd write a blog post. This is just giving you an example on how format changes. Great, write that blog post using H2 and H3 and H4 headers. And once again, you're going to see how it's SEO optimized automatically and formatted for a blog post. It's going to go ahead and write that blog post for me. I'm like, okay, great. Now I want you to write my title tag and my meta description on that. Don't have to give it context. It knows what I'm talking about. It's perfectly following Google's best practices. There you go. There's your title tag and meta description. Awesome. Now, you know that spot in Google that have the people also ask question? Can you write me a Q&A section that will likely show up in people also ask section of Google? Yeah, no problem. It already knows the blog post. It knows the content that we've written. Here you go. Here's your Q&A section that's most likely to show up on people also ask. Awesome. I appreciate that. Is there any way you can create an engaging thumbnail for the blog post? Don't have to say that it's about walkability score in Langley. Don't have to tell about anything. It already knows those things. It creates a thumbnail for us. And if you knew the neighborhoods of Walnut Grove and Willoughby, this is exactly how they're different. Willoughby is brand new. Fort Langley has a heritage feel to it. It's great. It's an okay title. It's not amazing to do, but this is our brand. And I want you to keep an eye on these colors in this brand because it's going to be very important later on. Those are the most iconic buildings in Langley, BC. I gave it the brand and say, you know what? Can you make the thumbnail much more like our brand? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. Willoughby versus Fort Langley. Which neighborhood wins in walkability? All from a single conversation. 25 long tail keywords, 3 blog post ideas, blog post, meta description, title tag, Q&A section, thumbnail. Right? It's in that context of having a conversation, going deeper, treating it like you're in a conversation. Great question, Christine. We'll get to that. No. Yes, but no, you don't need it, that part. Sorry, I'll answer everyone afterwards. And so the skill is this. The large language models are extremely smart, right? It has all the smart, but our job is to sort of give it direction. So if I were to say, write me an essay of the War of 1812, ChatGPT will go out and do that, right? Because I didn't give it any guardrails. It wants to accomplish the goal. It goes off and does it. But if I say, write an essay on the War of 1812 for a grade 6 student with just enough errors to get a B+, so my teacher isn't suspicious, it will also do that. And that is the context of a prompt, right? That is the context of a prompt. And so prompting is a skill. We could spend 2 hours just teaching you how to prompt, but this is a perfect prompt. It has these elements. It has task, context, model, persona, format, and voice. And if we look at this prompt, and oh, by the way, the importance goes down. Every time you interact with a large language model, task is always included. Write, brainstorm, create, analyze, all those things are in there. So this is a prompt, and in this prompt, all those things exist, right? The task is to write. The content is that you're creating an open house strategy for a high-end waterfront property in Fort Langley, BC for April 15th. The model is that you want it to include marketing channels, targeted audience, and key messages to attract qualified buyers. The persona is act like a real estate advisor specializing in real estate. If you just tell it it's a professional in a certain field, your outputs will go through the roof. It's weird. It works. Format in this case is a detailed event plan, and voice is professional and upscale tone. So that is the ideal prompt. Now, in the chat box, how many of you, just put the letter 1 in there, how many of you are using custom instructions inside your large language model? Scott is? Good. Amy? Lindo? Matt? Wow. I will tell you, Realty One, you are a higher level of custom instructions than almost any other office because 5 of you have said that you're using it. And if you believe that you are an intermediate user and you're not using custom instructions, you're not an intermediate user. This is the number one thing you can do to take your large language model interaction from 20 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour. It is an absolute must in everything you do. I'm going to give you a cheat sheet. I'm going to give you an awesome little tool that I've created for you. I'm going to give it away for you guys right now. But if I go into a large language model and I have my custom instructions turned off and I say, what do we do and why do we do it? It will answer that question. It will say something very philosophical, like at its core, human beings do these things. They do this emotional, they have a need for culture and for safety and for food and all those sort of things. But if I go and I turn my custom instructions on, where it knows everything about me, I ask that exact same question. The answer is very different. It says, at the Thorne Maisie Bongers Real Estate Group, we do more than simply buy and sell homes. What we do, we sell homes with purpose. We guide buyers with experience. We foster relationships. We support our community. We have a passion for empowering our clients. We're committed to excellence. We connection to our roots and building legacies. Because every single time I interact with a large language model, and a large language model, just so the question means ChatGPT, Gemini, all those things are large language models. It knows who I am, what I do, and most importantly, my style, tone, and voice. If any of you go, I can tell that's AI written. It's because the person who used the large language model didn't use a style, tone, and voice guide, right? It has its own voice. We have to override it with our own voice, right? These are our custom instructions. And in our custom instructions, right, there's 6 parts of a great prompt. It has 2 of those in there. It has the persona, in this case, a copywriter, and it has our voice, style, and tone guide. And this is our team's style, tone, and voice guide. Malcolm Gladwell's narrative depth, with Nate Silver's analytical precision, with Joseph Sugarman's engaging storytelling, and David Allen's actionable clarity. Now, the reason why this is this way is not because I want to sound like those authors, but because those authors, as a collection group with those skill sets, sound just like me. And because ChatGPT or Claude or any of these large language models have read everything Malcolm, Nate, Joseph, and David have ever put out, they know exactly how I speak. And so I've created this for you guys. This is a free GPT for you guys to go to. There is the QR code. You will get the slides afterwards. But if you go to this GPT, all you're going to do is it's going to give you a quiz. It's going to ask you about 20, 30 questions about how you write. And at the end of that, it is going to give you this paragraph with a mixture of your authors. You put that into your custom instructions, you press save, and it will always speak exactly like you. And no one will say, I know that was AI created. And so it's very important that it has your style, tone, and voice guide. And we can go into deeper on how to create custom instructions, but that's going to be there for you guys to use. So let's get into some real examples on how we're going to use this. I know we got time things, but I really want to show you this. So one of the huge opportunities is in data analysts, right? For it to analyze data. And so what I've done is I've pulled all the sales information for the past year and 1 month, so 13 months, so we have year over year, from all the townhome sales in 2 micro communities in my neighborhood, Willoughby and Walnut Grove. They're side by side. So this is all the townhome sales data in there. And then I'm going to ask ChatGPT, and I know this is small, but you guys will get the prompt. I want it to analyze that data. I want it to look for key insights that buyers and sellers will want to know. Then I want to take that data and I want to create an interactive dashboard. I want to bring key insights and market impact. And I want it to analyze for changes and trends. And I also want it to be in our brand colors, in our brand scheme. And you're going to see this. So this happens to be in Claude. I was testing it out the other day. And all I have to do is drag those 2 CSV files in there. It's got all that data. It's got thousands and thousands and thousands of data points in there that my local board won't look at because we're talking about 2 specific neighborhoods and only townhomes, right? And then I say, go ahead and make that into an interactive dashboard. And this is sped up a little bit, but the results are staggering. This is stuff that we could never have done and we would never have hired. There it is, analyzing all the things, trying to look at all the different ways that things are different and looking for insights. Now it's writing the code of an interactive dashboard. This took about 2.5 minutes. I've sped it up to about 25 seconds. And this is the result of it. Here is the page. Townhome market intelligence. There's our brand colors. Willoughby on one side, Walnut Grove on the other side. Watch the micro interactions as I interact with it. Look at that graph of all the different trends in there. It's got the monthly trends and insights. It's got the executive summary with strategic market outlooks and all that information's there. I pop back up and that thing didn't show up, but we could fix that. There's the insights on the market, the price analysts. Here we go, market velocity. We're looking at different days on market. All the information's there. There's the market insight, the current changes and trends. And then we can go out there and look at how the property types are broken out as far as bedrooms and whatnot and the insights in there. I mean, absolutely staggering, beautiful things that you could put out on social media. You could put on your website, looking at data by analyzing the data. The opportunity is absolutely incredible. One of the other great use cases is using its web browsing feature, right? So instead of saying use all of its knowledge, you're going to give it specific knowledge, right? So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my website and I'm going to pop over to our blog post section and I'm going to grab a URL of a blog post. In this particular case, we're looking at the difference between the MLS system and realtor.ca, difference between a listing portal and the information we have and how it's valuable. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this pre-written in prompt, right? I'm going to say, go off and read that blog post. And I want you to create 4 to 7 standalone Instagram reels formatted exactly how we want them, right? No question in the first sentence. I want the body a certain way. I want them to be standalone. I want them a call to action. It's going to be in our voice and it's going to go out there and read that blog post and bring us those Instagram reel scripts that I can then give to Trish and say, here's 35 Instagram reel scripts already formatted exactly how you want to talk about it. Which 5 do you want to film today? Right? And watch what happens here. It's going to find there. There it goes. Reel 1. There it is. Reel 1, opening sentence, body. Reel 2, perfectly formatted from the information we sent it to. Now you're at Realty 1. Let's say you don't blog post. Realty 1 certainly blogs, and you pay for that stuff. Go ahead and out there and tell it to create some content from there. And these prompts are absolutely nothing short of magic by telling it to go to a specific place. Now, ChatGPT's ability to see is phenomenal. It is incredible. The stuff you can use for it are amazing. But I want to just show you one use case. Of course, I could show you a bunch of them, but its ability to see is phenomenal. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a photo of a listing that we just got of a kitchen. And then I'm going to say very simply, review this image, then write an engaging paragraph about it for our listing brochure. Also in bullet point form, list its top 8 features. Now, the reason why that prompt can be so simple is because, remember, in my custom instructions, it's going to write that paragraph in our team's voice. I promise you that it will write it in my voice. So once you've got custom instructions down, you're able to make your prompts a lot more simple. So I'm going to send this off. It's going to analyze that image and watch what it does. Now, this may not be how you write your listing descriptions, but it's certainly the way we write them. Step into the sun-drenched kitchen and dining haven where timeless elegance meets modern convenience. Gleaming white shaker cabinets, white frame, high-end stainless steel appliances, while the expansive island with its waterfall countertop and artisan pendant lights beckons guests to gather. It's perfect. Then watch this, the 8 key features. Open concept with direct access to outdoor living, correct. Custom white shaker cabinetry, Yes. Center island. Yes. Professional grade stainless steel appliances, including double wall oven. Yes. Designer lighting, including chandelier and adjustable pendant fixtures. Yes. Durable tile flooring and hardwood rich floors in the dining room. Yes. Subway tile backsplash. Yes. Dedicated coffee and beverage station, thoughtfully integrated into the cabinetry. Yes. And it's absolutely amazing what you can do with vision. Give it 3 or 4 of your listing photos and get started. It can also see documents, and we'll talk about that in a second. I know we're going to keep going, and I'm going to go until they pull the plug on me because I got more stuff to go, and it is what it is. Now, I want to talk about image creation. Image creation in GPT 4.0 has changed things because of text. It is phenomenal. And anytime a new feature comes out, the first thing I do is I play with it, right? I play with it and see what can happen. So I open this up, and the first thing I do is create an image of Kathy Baker singing an emotional duet with Michael Bublé. I mean, that's the first thing you have to do, right? When a new feature comes out, that's obviously the first thing you do. And you're left with this amazing photo of Kathy and Michael Bublé singing an emotional duet. And once we finish having fun, doing fun things like that, we get back to serious things. And so now, we couldn't do this before. We couldn't do text in images, but this is simply a market update. This is simply an infographic about what's happening, average sales numbers, all this sort of stuff. It's got our codes. I send that off, and now I get a perfectly done infographic with words and values right on our brand colors, done in seconds. We can also go back and we can look at this, right? This is an ebook. This is First Time Home Buyer's Guide. And so we need a social media cover, right? There you go. There's 2 social media covers. That's what the Fraser Valley looks like. That's what our architecture looks like. It's perfect. We know we can create content now looking at images, no problem. There's an amazing tool in a starter kit. Sorry, guys, I know I'm going fast, but there's so much I want to get to. In an AI starter kit for you guys, there are 3 things I recommend. Number 1, the $20 version of ChatGPT, because once you realize how useful it is, you don't want to get to rate limits and have your business go on pause. Number 2, Notebook LM by Google. It is free. It is powerful. I could do 2 hours on Notebook LM. I'm going to do 3 minutes and 30 seconds on it. The third tool would be Perplexity, the free version of Perplexity. Next time you go to Google something, go to Perplexity and start learning the opportunities that are in there. But this next example is Notebook LM. Now, Notebook LM is different because it's a Google product, because it is isolated from the internet, because it is secure. I start to feel more confident. I've got the paid pro version, as you will see. I've got triple encrypted files in there. If the free version is single encryption, I think you're secure. But you guys are with Realty One. Listen to your leadership. Look at your ethics of your board. Do what's right for you. But what Notebook LM is the ability to put documents or information into a box and just chat with those boxes. So this is a listing from Oscar the Grouch's Garbage Can. I also have a contract to purchase and sale from SpongeBob SquarePants. Now in Canada, every single time we get an accepted offer, we have to do something called a deal sheet. I'm sure you guys have something similar to it. It takes about 10 minutes. When was the offer written? How much was it for? What's the deposit structure? Who's the buyer? Who's the seller? Who's the listing agent? Who's the buyer's agent? What subjects are involved? What are the conditions? What is the commission structure? All those things are in there. So in this Notebook LM, you can see on the left-hand side, I've got Oscar's listing and I got SpongeBob's offer. And all I have to do is paste in a pre-done template of a deal sheet. Here's the deal sheet. It's a template. I send it off. Normally takes me 10 minutes. That is 1 second. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4, 5, 6. In 6 seconds, I've done a task that used to take me 10 minutes. There's the offer. There's the address. There's the listing address. There's the buyer's agent. There's the seller's agent. There's the seller, buyer. There's the transaction details. There's the completion, possession, adjustment dates. There's the subject's conditions. There's the commissions. I sent it to my office, and I've done something in 6 seconds that used to take me 10 minutes, and something that I'm going to do every other day throughout the year. Now, you guys call it HOA documents. We call it strata documents. That's the next big thing. So in this example, I've put all the strata documents of an apartment complex in Fort Langley in there, right? It's got 850 pages of the most exciting reading you'll ever have. And now I can say something like, please summarize all the major changes proposed and passed in any of the AGMs. Not only do I want to know what was passed, but was it proposed and voted down and it's still coming? It's still something we have to deal with. I send that off, and in seconds, it's going to bring me back a report. Now, what's really important for us is it accurate? So there's all the changes that have happened. And next to every single one of the things, there is a number. And the great thing about this tool is if you hover over the number, it'll tell you where it is. If you click on the number, it will take you to the document, to the section where it found that information. So you could get that report and go, yep, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. You can also have it on your phone. Realtor calls you, hey, what's the fence policy in this subdivision? No problem. What's the fence policy? It is this. It will save you hundreds of hours dealing with strata documents. Notebook LM is a phenomenal, phenomenal tool. So let me ask you this question. Are you feeling overwhelmed? And I ask this question all the time, and people say yes. I also go, Michael, awesome. I hope you feel overwhelmed. That's an exciting feeling to have. That means you guys are starting to sense the unbelievable. Nikki has exactly said, but in a great way. That's exactly right. That means the opportunity is so much larger than you think it is. And that's the exciting part. And I know that Kathy's going to talk about it, but one of the reasons why I'm here is because I'm working with Brian Buffini. And I've been talking about AI and real estate for 2 years. And every single time I get off stage, I met with a bunch of realtors who look at me with this lost look in their eye and go, and now what? And now what? And I go, I don't know. Good luck. I don't know what you can do. I've got to go back to sell real estate. And Buffini Company saw that long line of realtors a year and a half ago in Vegas and said, we need to fix this. And I said, yeah, someone's got to fix it. And they said, let's fix this. And I said, absolutely, let's fix this. And that's what we've done. You know what? I want to give you more and more. I'm going to show you one more good thing before we finish up. I want to give you more and more and more because I don't need to hold anything back. If I had 8 hours, I still wouldn't show you guys all the opportunities and your brains are exploding. I'd show you something at the 4-hour mark that would fundamentally change your business. I mean, it's unbelievable what's out there. So there you are. It's going to be amazing. What it is one session every month for an entire year. We're going to give you all the prompts. We're going to give you all the worksheets. We're going to give you homework. If you show up for 1 hour every month, you will not get left behind, and you will grab the land that your fellow agents in your marketplace are going to sit back and wait 3 or 4 years before they come to the realization that they're being left behind. So there you go. There's a discount code for you guys. But I want to get back into it. I'm going to show you one more thing. Advanced voice mode is unbelievable. It's on your phone. It's on your desktop. And I go for a walk with my dog every day for 45 minutes. And advanced voice mode is incredible. So here's what I do. I go on for a walk, and this is just one example. I go on for a walk. Remember, it already knows who I am, what I do, and how I speak. I say, hey, chat, it's Michael. I'm out for a walk with my dog. What I want you to do is I want you to ask me 7 to 10 questions about what's happening in the local real estate market here in Langley that would be of value to buyers and sellers to know. What I want you to do is I want you to listen to every answer I give you and have that answer inform your next question, right? So that we can dig deep into those details. So basically, you're not using its intelligence, you're using your intelligence, your expertise, your unique insights, whether that's writing an ebook about staging or about doing a market update. And then it's going to ask you 7 to 10 questions. And all you have to do is answer them like you would a newspaper reporter. And then at the end, you say, great, chat, I appreciate that. Now go ahead and write a market update based on those answers. And it will take your insights, it'll take your knowledge, your expertise, and it will write a perfect market update for you. You could also say, hey, let's have a conversation about a half an hour about everything you need to know about staging your homes. Ask me about real things that happened to me, buyers that listened to me, or sellers that listened to me and won, sellers that didn't listen to me and it hurt them and their house stayed on the market. Ask me all that, and then at the end of it, write an outline for a blog post. You're the expert. Do not give up your expertise to AI. Have it flipped around and have it interview you, and you'll see amazing things happen. Last 2 slides, and then we're coming to you guys. This is the Pareto principle. 20% of your activities produce 80% of your results. I believe that to be true. right? For me, the 20% is my client care, taking care of my past clients, checking in on them, sitting across the table from a buyer, going on listing appointments. That's the 20%. AI has a really hard time doing those things, and you don't want AI to do them anyway. But those other 80% of your business, that still needs to get done. Doc prep, management, business planning, market insights, content creation, all that, SOPs, all those things still need to get done. That's the stuff that AI is really, really good at. Freeing up a couple hours each day so you can do the 20% that matters twice. That's how you're going to grow your business. Do not give that 20% to AI. I just don't think there's a benefit in doing so. Last slide. I talked about it before. I'll mention it again. There are two types of people out there, adopters and adapters. CJ knows I'm an adopter. I see change and all I see is opportunity. I don't see the challenge of it. I see land grab. I see new opportunities, way of elevating our experience for our customers, do things better, more efficiently. Then there's adapters. Adapters are the people that change because it's too painful not to do it. In those two people, adopters and adapters, they both did it. They both changed. They both had to go through all the learning curves, all the headaches, all the hurdles, right? And one wins and benefits from doing so, and one just doesn't go out of business. So please, if you can acknowledge the fact that you are going to do this, that it's going to have a larger impact on our society than the internet, then go, if I'm going to do it anyway, let me do it now. Because right now, as the speed happens, as it gets more frantic and more crazy, that divide gets bigger, and it's actually harder to do it 6 months from now than today, or 3 years from now than today. That's what's going to happen. So if you can acknowledge you're going to do the change anyway, do it now, win because of it, grow your business, take care of your clients. That's it. I'm sorry, I talked fast.
What to say? I don't know what to say except preach. Michael Thorne, preach.
Well, number one, thank you for honoring, and man, I'm just so impressed. You're dead on
I
time.
tried.
So thank you for that. There is more, the boot camp. Can you put that slide back up, and I'll put that back. We would encourage people. Thank you. To consider this. I mean, let me get that big enough, or maybe I have to be quiet. But I want to talk about, people are saying I'm a hands-on learner. I need one-on-one.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the boot camp and what it looks like and what the interaction is going to be.
Yeah, so that's a huge, big factor for me, right? Initially, when it was proposed, it was, Michael, come down and let's record 6 months and let's put it out. And I said, it can't be done. We need to have flexibility because things are changing all the time. And I need to be able to interact with the audience. I need to be able to do Q&A. I need to be able to help them where they are. I want to feel like you're sitting across the table from me, right? That's where I want the experience to be. We're going to go slow. We're going to break it down. We're going to give you all the prompts, all the works, all the homework to do, and we're going to make it very manageable for you. They're going to be recorded. You can go back, 6 months from now and rewatch them. What's really exciting is we're going to give takeaways for beginners and takeaway for advanced people. What I know is going to happen, the people that see themselves as beginners are going to do 7 months. Then they're going to go back and watch module 1, and they're going to see the advanced stuff through completely new eyes. It'll be like a whole new class all over again that you can implement, right? And so this is the way we're going to put it into real estate terms. You can go out and watch a YouTube video about a guy who's using it at his tire shop. But a lot of realtors are like, well, but how does that affect my real estate business? I do what you guys do. I'm out with buyers and sellers every single day. And so every example we're going to give you will be through the lens of a real estate agent. And we hope that it is I know it's going to be a transformative way to learn. There'll be nothing else like it. There's a lot of people out there selling you a product, selling you an app. This isn't this. This is a skill. You're learning a skill that you're going to have to then apply it to your business. What I'm most excited about, guys, is that there are hundreds and hundreds of ways people that take the boot camp are going to use it on their business that I never dreamt of, that I never thought of. Like, that's the great thing, is once you have the skill, you apply it to your own business, and I'll go, oh my goodness, that's such a great use case. I didn't think of it that way. It will do whatever you want, and we want to give you the skill so you can do what you want to do with your business, because we all run our businesses differently. And so it's going to be incredible.
Michael, on that note, can I give my one tip? My amateur one tip is this is how
I
I've
would love
started
it.
doing it is when you're about to do something, you're about to build a spreadsheet, you're about to ask Google something, you're about to search for something, think, can I do this in ChatGPT? Can I do this in an LLM? And it's changed my behavior. Like I've had to, because normally I would get something and then I'd go straight to a spreadsheet and start building out a spreadsheet. It does all those things. So just start exercising your brain in a way that goes, I don't have to do that. I can try it a different way.
Yeah, you know what? And once you start doing that and you see the positive reinforcement of it, because it works, it will work if you learn that, then you go, oh, and then you start seeing other opportunities. You know what I mean? It's like someone who's learning to do street photography for the first time. You don't see a photo. You go out with a professional street photographer, every door handle and every hinge and every piece of cobblestone is a photo. That's really what that's what it is. That's what it is.
Friends, we will share that boot camp code far and wide. Look for it in your one-on-ones on Wednesdays, which you should be looking for anyways, with all the information about Summit. But we will share that boot camp QR code in there. And in other ways, any other ways we can think of, we'll make sure that you guys have it. I promise.
And I'll get all these slides out to Kathy. Kathy, if I got you the slides, you can get them out to your crew.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
need
Mike,
to hydrate.
I'll fire them up to you.
I need to
yeah,
hydrate.
and I do too. We need to, I mean, we need just some oxygen. What a fantastic job. What a great launch for a good partnership. We are
Yeah.
we are just excited to work with you and for you to be a part of the Realty One Group family. So thank you, thank you. Thank you, Corey, for the nice surprise. Thanks everyone for attending. Watch on YouTube, Savag. I know you're probably having a sip of bourbon like me, even though in California it's a little bit early. So Savag and I have been texting and I was like, are you on? And he was like, oh my gosh, yes. So thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone. We appreciate you and we look forward to working together more.
Thank you,
It's
Michael.
been delightful. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys very, very much.
Thank you.